Armand, you told me you had a meeting with Brad Myers from the Sandy Spring Bank, and one of the things that blew him away was how Rocky is different. What did you have to say?
Oh, he was amazed at what we do, because we'll meet the banks will often refer clients to us who have no knowledge of what they need for construction, and we will assist the client. We will meet them at their existing location. We'll meet them at their proposed location if needed, and we will prepare a plan for them for their new location. We'll prepare a budget so they'll know how much the cost will be, and we'll also prepare a schedule so that they'll know when they have to make a decision. Oftentimes, the client has a lease that's going to expire and they want to either relocate or purchase a property. And so we give them everything they need to help them make that decision. They know how much it's going to cost. They know that what they want to do will fit in their new location, and they know when they have to make decisions so that they can have their project done in time for their relocation.
And why did this impress Brad? Like, how's this different than other companies?
Well, oftentimes a client will be forced to just go hire an architect, and they will then be spending money right from the beginning, whereas we do this upfront work at no cost to the client. So they'll hire an architect. The architect will go through the design process. There'll be no control on the budget. There'll be no real control on the schedule. And so when the construction documents are all done by the architect, then oftentimes there's big surprises. So we eliminate the surprises. The client knows up front, their bank knows up front what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, and that the location is appropriate for their needs.
Excellent. One of the things you told me in the past was sometimes architects have a different eye than people that are building things, the builders, and sometimes there's a disconnect in what they thought would happen and what the reality is. And Rocky has both of those things in-house. How does that change things for customers?
So there's no surprises. Their constructability issues are often not understood by architects and designers. So they think they design based on appearance and not on real constructability often. So we add tremendous value because we look at constructability as part of the design, and we help the client through that.
And there's been times in the past where you've had clients wanting work done, they've got an architect, and there's been a problem that you guys have had to solve. And that's one of the things you pride yourselves on, is that creative ability to find the best solutions for the situation.
Yes.
Tell me about one of those.
Well, we're looking at a project right now where the client has 6 months for design and construction, and he's already spent over 2 months on design and found out that the cost is way over his budget and the construction time will be very extensive. So if we had known up front, we could have used that information to help him stay in his budget and stay on schedule.
And so are you working with him now?
We are giving him the initial help for redesign and giving him ideas for mechanical solutions that would have dramatic cost savings.
Armand, you were telling me about a particular client that had a kitchen they were building, and the architectural drawings did not take the amount of volume of gas they needed. So tell me about the situation and how you guys solved it.
So we were doing a restaurant in Annapolis project, and we were not the designer. The owner had hired his own design team. And so partway through we realized that the gas system was undersized for all the new equipment. So in order to keep on track and to be open on time, we installed temporary propane system and converted his equipment to propane until the Baltimore Gas and Electric could put in a new gas service. So that allowed him to open on time, the cost was minimal, and he didn't lose a lot of money because of added time and expense.
Nice. So what separates you from other construction companies? Like, what do your customers tell you that, this is the reason we keep on coming back to Rocky is what?
We take care of their problems. We're their creative problem solver. Over and over again.
And Would that be how you separate yourself from other folks? Is that ability to creatively solve problems?
Well, not only that, but when we are involved from the beginning, we avoid the problems. So oftentimes, there's always inherent problems in construction, but when with an architect in house and our years of experience, we were able to identify many of the problems right up front before we even start the project. Oftentimes, architects and other designers don't have that ability, and so these things crop up later or after it's too late to fix.
So sometimes if you don't have that facility in-house, is there a lot of finger pointing between designers, architects, and builders?
That's a common problem. As soon as something goes wrong, the contractor will want extra money, and then the owner will look to the architect to say, why did this happen? And the architect will say, well, we didn't know, and it can go back and forth. Yes.
So you provide them that one-stop shop that, hey,
Yes.
we're going to make this happen.
Right. We'll start at locating as early as helping a client locate a property, all the way through the furniture and the computers and the telephones if they need that.
Okay. Tell me about another employee that went above and beyond the call of duty.
This happens all the time. We're just finishing a job for a government agency. It was about a 50,000 square foot building of offices, and we did paint and carpet and new cubicles on weekends and at nights for the whole property, and got them done in time and without any interruption to their operations. So we worked nights, off hours, nights, weekends, whatever they needed.
So that's an example of Rocky going above and beyond the call of duty to make sure the customer gets what they need in the way they need it.
Right, the customer comes first, yes.
Do you have another example of a particular employee that they did something that exemplified what Rocky's all about?
Sure. Right now, Kevin Burke is our safety supervisor, and he constantly is monitoring safety, and not only for our own employees, but for other contractors on projects. And he constantly is on top of being sure that there's no hazards, no safety issues, nothing that can cause any harm to any employee.
So give me an example like you did with the Albanian embassy, like one of those examples where an employee said this was the problem and Jack did X to fix it. Give me one of those examples.
Okay, let's think about it. Bob Allen, who's been with us for over 30 years, recently finished a project outside of Philadelphia that lasted over a year because it was a fitness center, and it had to be completed in phases so that we could keep them in total operation. So we, on a weekly basis, we would have a look ahead and determine with the client what we could do next, what we could do to not interfere with their operation. And in doing so, we also took the architect's drawings. Again, we were not hired as the designer on that project. And we saved them over $100,000 by coming up with other options for their design, for their construction, that fully met the owner's needs and provided tremendous cost savings.
Nice. Any last story or comment?
We have great employees. Phil McWilliams has been here for many years. He's a registered architect, and he's just on top of everything. No detail passes by Phil. And working alongside of Phil is Dion Amato, and he has learned from Phil and hopefully from me that how we do things, the right way to do things, and we try and do things flawlessly and to just take complete care of the client. And that not only the in-house or in-office employees, but also the people in the field have that same philosophy, same motivation to take care of the client. It's all the way through the company.
Okay. And one of the things some of your other employees said about Dion, that guy owes me money. No, they didn't say that. They said that because he was one of us and he was actually in the field, his ability to do his job now is so valuable to them because it's not disconnected. It's like he's lived it, breathed it, and now he's
Exactly.
providing the best support. So can you articulate what I just said?
Oh, yeah, sure. Dion's worked here about 15 years, and he started out in the field as a superintendent. And because of that, because of his knowledge and his field experience and working with subcontractors, working with our other employees, he brings a tremendous knowledge and understanding of how the whole picture, the whole operation works, and how the client, what the client needs, what the customers need, what the subcontractors, how it all works together. So he brings all that together as a project manager.
Nice.